Hey everybody, this is Bo back in the Sports Lounge. We're going to go down to Gannon University, get a chance to talk to head football coach Jim Kiernan. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you this morning, Bob?
Good. Are you having a chance right now to enjoy your summer, or are you pretty much just slammed with prospects and looking at those game plans?
Well, obviously in the summertime you try to get some time to get away to recharge the battery, but you're always recruiting, and certainly now with less than a month left to camp, it's hard to stay away and not want to get into checking things out and making sure everything's ready for this upcoming season.
Coach, you've got some talented guys down there right now. Some of them were really not there. They were there, but they weren't there. But they're now showing up in the weight room. They're showing up on the practice fields. They're running the 7-on-7s. Who are those gentlemen coming up to the bat and really doing a nice job of representing the team right now in the offseason?
Well, I think it starts with some of our seniors. In particular in the backfield, we returned two senior running backs, John Richardson and Anthony Weaver, and both of those guys have been up here every summer since we've been here, and continue to work hard and lead the way for our guys. We've got some very good O-linemen returning, particularly Sam Gilmaker up front, a sophomore, who was a first-team all-conference guy a year ago, and he's been up all summer. And, obviously our quarterbacks are up here working very hard this summer. And so, we've got a good core over on offense, and then defensively, our secondary comes back intact, so we're excited about that. And those guys have been up working real hard. And we've got a young group of D linemen. We're replacing four seniors up front that have really put in a great effort this summer and getting ready to step into the shoes of those seniors. And we're excited about their talent up front. And we know they're going to have to get the experience as quickly as possible. But we've got a great core of guys up here. I think that's going to produce some excellent things here in the fall.
Now, you're going out recruiting, you're talking to students, you're getting guys to show up in practice. Have any of those freshmen sort of showed up right now and sort of worked out in the facility, or they're still waiting for the true practice schedule to show up?
Yeah, those guys are still, those guys are going to show up here in August, and so it's kind of tough with those guys, getting them here early and for the voluntary workouts because they're not enrolled in classes yet. So they're at home working on their own, checking in with their position coaches on a daily basis, and some of those guys are going to have to step into some roles, but certainly not as much as we've had to do in the past. And so that's comforting from the head coaching standpoint, that you've got a more veteran group that's going to be out there on the field, and you don't have to rely on the guys that are showing up as much on August 5th. So
that's got to be kind of hard for a coach. You get a team, you've got some nice talent, you've got some nice players, you've got some leadership, and then you have your true all-stars for your team, and then you have open slots, and you're really hoping that some of these freshmen could just show up early and get acquainted with everything instead of having, the deer in a headlight look. But in the same token, as a football coach and as a player, it's nice to have the freshmen have the deer in the headlight look. It sort of makes things a little more comforting that they realize this is the big deal and they've got those looks and those eyes. But I think every year, every coach either dreads the freshmen showing up, or they really like the fact of how scared they look when they finally get there.
Well, I think the really cool thing for me as a head coach is to watch that kid come in with that look on his face, and then turn around 4 years later and see a confident young man walking around the building, who and the guy that recognizes that those freshmen are going to be like that and steps in to help, ease the transition and things. So, but you're finding more and more, the kids today, that they understand what college football is about. They have an idea, and with all the things that they get out there online and with the media like yourself, it's a lot more access now for an 18-year-old to find out, hey, what's it going to be like when I come into college? So maybe, we're seeing these guys being just a little bit more prepared for it, but you still have that, hey, this is a new experience for me, and, not only am I trying to be a good football player, but now I'm trying to make new friends and get acclimated into an area that I haven't been in before, and so you still have some of that. But in terms of the work ethic and, the speed and the strength training that those guys are doing now, it's just so much further ahead than when I was playing. I know that.
Well, you're at a Catholic university. It's a little different than a traditional university. It seems like most of those do not have the problems that other colleges and universities seem to roll into with students. The university's set up. They know what to expect when they get there. You know what the guidelines are. How is it different there with some of the students that come in versus a traditional college?
Well, I think no matter where you're at, it always starts with the type of kids you're recruiting, and you're always going to look to recruit a character kid because let's face it, there's a lot of good, talented athletes out there, but you got to find guys that can mesh on a team, and so character comes to the forefront there. And I think the advantage we have here is we're recruiting a pretty strong student athlete, and so when they come in, they're prepared and they know what to expect, and they're a little bit more on track with the academic part of things because that's been expected of them prior to arriving here, but they still go through the same things that any freshman will go through, and just trying to get acclimated and getting used to the schedule of college, and maybe not quite as much of a structured academic day as they've had coming out of high school and things. But really, I think our guys go through a lot of the same things, and just maybe at some points that they have a little bit stronger academic background, so they're a little bit more prepared for what they're going to go through during the school year.
Now, Coach, you're now in a brand new organization conference, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference versus the GLIAC. What are types of offenses and defenses really quickly that you have to be prepared for in this conference versus the GLIAC?
Well, I think the thing that we see just a little bit more than we would when we were over in the GLIAC is we see a lot more of a two-back offense. The GLIAC had tended to go to a lot more one-back spread offenses, and not that you didn't have some of the teams like the Michigan Techs that were still lining up and doing a great job of running the football. But we see a little bit more of that here, and I think we're seeing a more variety of offense because now you're starting to see some of the schools transition in, to your one-back offenses that you're seeing across the country. So, but we're still seeing more, probably two-back that way than we would, when we were in the GLIAC. And defensively, you're seeing everything, and it was no different. The GLIAC and Pennsylvania State Athletic League here, all do a great job with their defenses, and you're seeing everything, on a week-to-week basis. So I don't think that has changed so much, but I think just some of the styles of offense that we've traditionally saw when we were in the GLIAC have gone back to a little bit more of the two-back sets.
Besides the kicker, real quick, where does a lot of focus not go to? You're in practice every day and you're talking about offense and defenses. From my standpoint, I think from a lot of listeners, the offensive line gets missed a lot of times, but it seems like it's actually more important than the actual quarterback and running back, and they get the least amount of attention. Who are those guys for you that really cement that offense?
Well, like I said, our running backs have been in this system now for 3 years. But when you look up front, I mean, we have Sam Gilmaker back, who just came off that great year he had as a true sophomore. Richie Anderson, who's going into his senior year, who is our left guard spot. Sean Epperjesse, who's in his senior year at our center spot. And we've got some young guys that battled throughout the spring here with the right side of our offensive line, and we like where that's going. And those are going to be some battles that continue here into preseason camp and make some quick decisions. But that left side of the offensive line has got to be the anchor, and those guys are going to be the heart and soul of where we go.
Coach Kiernan, thanks for taking the time with us.
Well, thank you, Bo. Always a pleasure, and try to enjoy the summer yourself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, guys, Coach Jim Kiernan from Gannon University. Quality program, awesome university, excellent location. Check it out for all you zsportslounge.com. We enjoy following his program, his reputation followed in Saginaw Valley down to Gannon. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks again.
You're welcome. You're off the air.